We got the best professional sports league in the world, right? And there's 32 jobs, and a lot of guys want to be head coach. So every job is attractive. They just are, including ours. And we have a lot of things to offer. We have a great city, great fan base. We have great ownership. We have had stability in our building for a long, long time, and I think we're viewed that way.
Oh, really? Really? I cannot believe the arrogance. I cannot believe the ignorance. I cannot believe how out of touch Mickey Loomis is with reality. For starters, and this is nothing against the city of New Orleans. As you guys know, I love New Orleans, but let's just be real here. New Orleans is not an attractive destination, especially for people with options. Summers are miserable. I would rather be inside of an igloo in Alaska in the middle of January than dealing with another summer in New Orleans. Although New Orleans is a fun city, it's one of those places it's fun to visit, but it's not where you actually want to live. New Orleans to me is a lot like Las Vegas. They are both great event towns, but they're not great places to live when compared to cities like New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago. You know, I have not felt this disenfranchised with my Saints in my entire adult life. I have no confidence in this front office. I have no confidence in this ownership group. I'll be honest with you. I have no hope. It is entirely possible, maybe even likely, that the Saints, they never contend for another Super Bowl in my lifetime. Outside of the 15 years with Sean Payton and Drew Brees, this has been one of the worst run franchises in sports. And that clip I just showed you of Mickey Loomis, that is a prime example of why. The level of incompetence is unbelievable. For years, local media in New Orleans, along with the fan base, we have been begging Mickey Loomis to fix the salary cap. For years, we have been telling Mickey Loomis that the current roster is nowhere close to playoff contention. For the past few months, we have been telling Mickey Loomis that the Saints are not an attractive job. But for some reason, he refuses to listen. If you look at the arrogance displayed during his press conferences, it's clear that Mickey Loomis thinks that he knows better. It's clear that Mickey Loomis thinks that he is smarter than everyone else. Now, in his defense, as the general manager of the team, the last thing you want to do is make decisions based on the fan base. It's one thing when fans are saying something. It's one thing when local media is saying something. You can write that off as passion, maybe even emotion, but when outsiders are telling you the same thing, when potential head coaches are telling you that they are not interested in your head coaching position, it is time for you to wake the fuck up. The problem is, Mickey Loomis, he is still fast asleep. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Headline at CBS Sports: Joe Brady to remain in Buffalo, pulling his name out of Saints head coaching search. Let me translate that for you. Joe Brady refuses to let Mickey Loomis ruin his career. Just think about this for a second. This is not Bill Belichick turning down your position. This isn't someone like Pete Carroll or Mike Tomlin turning down your organization. This is Joe Brady, a would-be rookie head coach. Joe Brady! Who in the hell's Joe Brady? This is the equivalent of Bobby Brady turning down the Saints. And the thing is, Joe Brady, he's got ties to New Orleans. He was the offensive assistant under Sean Payton in 2017 and 2018. He's also the second coach with previous ties to the organization to turn Mickey Loomis down this week. Aaron Glenn, he was the DB coach from 2016 to 2020. He was willing to take the job. He was willing to become the Saints head coach, but he ended up declining. Why? Well, according to some reports, Aaron Glenn, he wanted Mickey Loomis to step aside and allow someone else to be the general manager. Gayle Benson refused, so he took the job with the Jets. What does that tell you? In the past 7 days, two coaches with recent ties to Mickey Loomis, they have turned down a promotion. Two coaches with ties to Mickey Loomis have basically said, we don't want to work with Mickey Loomis. And you mean to tell me that Gayle Benson refuses to move on from him? I am convinced at this point that Sean Payton and Drew Brees, they were able to succeed in spite of Mickey Loomis. This is an absolute disaster. The Saints aren't only the most unattractive job in the NFL, they are one of the most unattractive jobs in professional sports. Hell, right now, both franchises in New Orleans are a flaming ass fire. Gayle Benson is a lovely woman. She does a lot for the city. Gayle Benson contributes a lot of her time and a hell of a lot of her late husband's money to charity. But when it comes to running a franchise, Gayle Benson does not have a clue. I have no hope. I have no confidence in this organization. To me, there is a clear path for the Saints to clean up this mess that Mickey Loomis has created. It's going to suck in the short term, but long term, at least it gives you a chance. First, you have got to cut Donnie Carr. Get him the hell out of here. The next time I see Donnie on my TV, he better be throwing hospital balls and checkdowns to some other losing team. But KC, cutting Derek Carr will put $50 million of dead money on the salary cap. So? Who cares? You're not going to win next season anyway. You have an aging roster filled with overpaid legends who are well past their prime. You have a roster filled with players on untradeable contracts. I understood the restructures. I understood pushing salaries into future years when we had that final window with Drew Brees from 2017 to 2020. What I didn't understand, and what I still don't understand, is why Mickey Loomis continues to do it. Saints haven't made the playoffs since 2020. Why are we still overpaying legendary players? I like Alvin Kamara. Do I think he's worth $25 million over the next 2 years? Sure, for another team. The Saints are nowhere near close to playoff contention, so why in the hell are we paying a premium for a 30-year-old running back? Nothing this organization does makes sense. They're always preaching about compassion. They're always preaching about family and patience. I already have a family. You're not my family. You're my football team. The NFL is not a patient league. Careers are short. If you're not producing, you're supposed to be out of a job. It took this damn team 3 years to fire the worst coach in the league, arguably the worst coach in the history of the league. Last I checked, Willard Green, he was still coaching the Pelicans. Past 3 years, Gayle Benson, she has stuck the city with the two worst coaches in their respective league. But that's okay. That's okay because Willie Green keeps me in his prayers. Instead of embracing the suck, instead of building towards the future, I think Mickey Loomis is going to do the complete opposite. He's going to restructure contracts. He will probably keep his good friend Donnie. The Saints, they'll win 5, 6, maybe 7 games next season. They'll find another excuse as to why they suck. They'll blame injuries. They'll blame the weak draft. They'll blame the weather. And this time next year, we'll be sitting here having the exact same conversation. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.